All right, guys, I want to talk a little bit about today about buy-in, sell-through, and how we can improve some sales on the local stores. So, I worked retail for 22 years, and the thing that drove me insane is when I had product that didn't sell. Because the whole point of retail is I'm trying to maximize my profits per shelf space and square inch on the sales. And it's tough. It's tough when something doesn't sell. And I understand the store's nervousness or concerns about bringing in product because they don't want to get stuck with something that doesn't sell. And so what we're trying to change that. And um, when a store stocks a product, it's absolutely amazing. And it is an incredible blessing and benefit to the company because it shows that they have enough confidence in the product that it will sell in their store. But just because they don't stock it doesn't mean that we shouldn't sell it in their store. And so we have put an emphasis on the displays that the displays can sell the products without them stocking it. So it reduces their risk and it also reduces the physical space that it takes inside of their store to sell it. And this is really important because how big are these stores? They're not that big. And if you think of all the manufacturers and the products that they're making, it really ties in of how little is in stocked in these stores. So instead of trying to get the entire curb line in the stores or these other products that are new, let's focus on the basics. Let's focus on how they can sell their product with that minimal risk. And then when the product is consistently selling in their stores and they're getting people that are interested in it, and a big part of that is on Georgia, where she makes the push on social media to get people to walk into the stores and asking about Ebbe products, then we'll have a greater sell through. And when I worked in the board game industry, I noticed that we would have a strong, we would always have a buy-in, but it was not consistent or often that we actually had restocks. And so there's a chain of stores in Texas, and they would bring in one game, and if it didn't sell within the first week, they would never order it again. And so it was a really tough industry because they were always looking for the new product, the next product. It was cult of the new industry. But in the plumbing world, it's not that way, thank goodness. And we can sell our product. And so we want the stores to have less risk. And that's why we made some changes to our return policy that they can return any product after unlimited amount of time as long as we are still selling the product. So that way, all they have to do is pay for return shipping, and it's risk free. And that's an incredible change in favor of the stores as we navigate these challenging times. So when we first sell a product on our level, we're watching who buys these products. It's the initial buy-in, and we're holding our breath, and our nerves are shot as we're waiting for this product to sell. And we don't know if they've sold the product or not until they reorder, until we get a restock. So that initial buy-in, it's always like, is it going to sell? Are they going to, or is it just going to sit in their store and collect dust? And then when we see those products, then we know that they're going to start selling and they're going to start moving through their doors. So let's put the focus that we're concerned about the stores. We're concerned about their needs and their concerns, that we will take the product back and that they can bring it in their store and test it to see if it sells without that risk. And that's really important. Angle, and also get those displays, get that material in there so that they will be aware of our product. And when someone walks in the door and say, hey, I'm looking for a drain for this, I want that salesperson to think of Ebbe, because people are lazy and we always think of we kind of already have canned answers. So if somebody walks in the door and says, man, I'm really looking for a nice drain to go with my brushed nickel, I want them to think of a pro. I want them to think of an Ebbe product. And if we can get the salesperson, the counter person, to think of Ebbe always, then we've succeeded. And that's where our focus needs to be. Instead of trying to push these huge orders or trying to get product in there that really isn't going to be a stockable item, like the curbs or some of their more advanced products. And that's it. Let's just work together and do what we can to get more products in the stores and make sure that they sell through the stores and that they reorder, because at that point we find success.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks. Well, and Daniel, I just wanted to point out during the sales call, Brent talked about a sell through when he does a buy in. Usually he's planning on 6 months to 12 months for the sell through. right?
Mhm.
And so when you're getting a store to do their initial buy-in, that's what you want to focus on is how much of this product can they sell within 6 months to a year, you know, what can they sell through within that time frame? And ideally it's going to be the 6 months, right? Not 12 months, like that guy that you mentioned that, you have 1 month to get it sold.
You have 1 week.
Yeah, 1 week. Anyway, thankfully it's not like that, but that, and then I think emphasizing again, I just want to emphasize again that our display boards are designed to sell the product without having to stock it. And I have people that call in all the time that are requesting displays for various things, and they're from various states throughout the United States. And when I tell them, listen, this is how this board works, you have all of the finishes, you have all of the patterns, you have all of you have the brochure so that you can sell it from the brochure. When I tell them those things, they're like, oh, well, if I don't have to inventory it, if I don't have to stock it in my store, I want that board. So I think that's a really important thing to emphasize. It's an asset to be able to give them the board and not require them to keep stock on those things.
Yeah, very effective tool. And so sales reps, if you can teach the stores how to use the displays to sell our product, that is something that we can accomplish. That's something that we can do.
Yeah, and probably more effective than a huge buy-in, right? Because it's
Definitely.
facilitating that sell-through that you were talking about.
Yep, that is correct.
Okay.
And then one thing about adapters is that what we found is I've got the sales history of adapters, and we sold a lot more adapters years ago than we do now because other companies are going out of business. Maybe they're doing less remodels. I'm not sure why. But what we found is that when we released other products that can thread into a drain, like a riser, so I'm talking about the Legacy, the Hex, and we even have some upcoming stuff. What that means is that people are now looking for adapters and the standalone bond flanges and drains without the riser. So we've sold bundles. We've had great success with bundles, but we're starting to see people buy a la carte where they buy just the ECCD drain by itself and then buying a hex with it. And so we're seeing an increase on adapters, and that's why we're focusing on those and letting people know what we have available.
Okay. All right. Thanks, you guys, for tuning in. That's what we pulled together since I didn't get the recording. So have a great day.